Hello friends, myself Dr. Neeraj Malhotra. I'm assistant professor in orthopedics. Our topic for today is hip dislocation. First of all, we will discuss its anatomy. Hip joint is a ball and socket joint. It's a pretty stable joint. 40% of the femoral head is always covered by bony acetabulum in any position of hip movement. There is labrum to deepen the acetabulum and to provide stability to the joint. This joint is supplemented by very strong ligaments, iliofemoral, cubofemoral, and ischiofemoral ligaments. They run in spiral fashion and prevent the excessive hip extension. Coming to blood supply of the femoral head and neck, major suppliers are medial and lateral femoral circumflex arteries, which are branches of profunda femoral artery. They form an extracapsular vascular ring around the base of the femoral neck with ascending cervical branches. Classification of the hip dislocations, basically three types depending upon the position of the head of femur with respect to the acetabulum. Posterior dislocation, anterior dislocation, and central dislocation. Posterior is quite common and is seen in 80 to 90% of the cases. Posterior dislocation, also known as dashboard injury, it results from trauma to the flexed knee with hip in varying degrees of flexion. Femur is thrust upwards and the femoral head is forced out of its socket, typically seen in road traffic accidents. Seat belt restraints have reduced the number of dislocations. Its clinical features, patient will provide a history of trauma. Attitude of the limb will have flexion, adduction, and internal rotation. There will be shortening and gross restriction of all hip movements. You can feel the femoral head has hard mass in the gluteal region and it will move with the movement of the femur. Patient may have associated sciatic nerve injury. Anterior dislocation is a hyperextension injury against the abducted leg that levers the head out of its acetabulum. Acetabulum, femoral head is dislocated anterior to the acetabulum. Typically in road traffic accidents, when the knee strikes the dashboard with thigh abducted, or when the patient has violent fall from its side, or forceful blow to the back of the patient in a squatted position. Attitude of the limb, hip is minimally flexed, externally rotated, and markedly abducted, as you can see in the picture. Central dislocation is least common and difficult of all dislocations. Mechanism of injury is either direct blow on the greater trochanter or in case of road traffic accident or when patient falls on its side. It is invariably associated with fractures of the acetabulum. Coming to management part, careful history and evaluation gives very strong clues. Patient will give history of significant trauma, usually RTA. Patient will have severe pain if he or she is conscious. Patient will be unable to walk or bear weight. Physical examination in posterior hip dislocation. On an inspection, lower limb will be flexed, adducted and internally rotated. Farther, as you can remember. There will be shortening. On palpation, femoral head is palpated posteriorly in the gluteal region. Narad sign will be positive. You won't be able to feel femoral vessels in the inguinal region. Movement will be painful in all directions. Examination in anterior hip dislocation. Typically, on an inspection, limb is slightly flexed, abducted, and externally rotated. There may be lengthening. On palpation, you can feel the head in the pubic region or in the perineum, depending upon its position. Movement will be painful and limited. Coming to X-ray examination, as they say, eyes don't see what mind doesn't know. First of all, you should know the normal anatomy on X-ray. This is X-ray of hip joint, AP view. You can appreciate femoral head, neck, greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, and superior and inferior pubic ramus. You should be able to appreciate this Shenton's line. This is very important. This is basically a line joining the inferior part of the superior pubic ramus and is continuous on the medial part of the head and is again continuous with the medial part of the femoral neck. It is broken in all dislocations. Now come to posterior dislocation. As you can see, Shenton's line is broken. Femur head is lying superiorly out of its socket, acetabulum, and see the lesser trochanter. You can't appreciate the lesser trochanter because femur is internally rotated because of attitude of the limb. This is anterior dislocation of the hip, obturator type. Head is lying inferiorly out of socket, and here appreciate the lesser trochanter. It is more prominent on the dislocated side as limb is externally rotated. This is central dislocation or protusio associated with fractures of the floor of the acetabulum. Neurovascular examination is very important in case of dislocations because patient may have associated nerve injuries like sciatic nerve injury or femoral nerve injury. In sciatic nerve injury, patient will have loss of sensation in the posterior leg and foot with loss of dorsiflexion. If peroneal branch is involved, patient will have foot drop or plantar fracture if tibial branch is involved. There will be loss of deep tendon reflexes. In case of femoral nerve injury, patient will have loss of sensation over the thigh with quadricep weakness. Treatment in all hip dislocations should be considered orthopedic emergencies and need to be addressed immediately. They are to be reduced urgently so that patient doesn't have late complications like avascular necrosis of the head or traumatic degeneration of the hip joint. There are various methods of close reduction. Most popular are Ellis method, Bigelow's method, and Stimson's gravity method. Ellis and Bigelow's are reduction methods in supine position. Stimson's gravity method is in prone position. Ellis method, patient is placed supine while the surgeon is standing above the patient on the stretcher or table. Initially, surgeon applies traction in line while the assistant stabilizes the pelvis. Surgeon will increase traction and slowly flex the hip to 70 degrees with gentle rotatory movements of the hip as well as slight adduction. Will often help the femoral head to clear the lip of the acetabulum. You can apply a little lateral force to the proximal thigh and you can hear the audible clunk as a sign of successful colon reduction. Bigelow's method, where the patient is lying supine, assistant applies counter traction on the both ASIS. Hip is gently adducted, internally rotated and bent on the abdomen. This relaxes the Y ligament and brings the femoral head near the posterior inferior aspect of the acetabulum. By adduction, external rotation and extension of the hip, head is levered back into the sternum, leading to reduction. Stimson's gravity method. Patient is lying prone. Patient is brought to the edge of the table with assistant stabilizing the hip over the sacral region. The affected hip and knee are flexed to 90 degrees. Downward pressure is applied on the flexed knee. To facilitate reduction, gentle rotations may be needed. How to see whether the patient will do good with non-operative or operative treatment, may need operative treatment. If the hip is stable after reduction, you will go with non-operative treatment. Patient will be kept in comfortable position with skin traction and analgesics. Avoid flexion, adduction and internal rotation. Early mobilization after 2 weeks is started, and before that we get repeat x-rays to check if the reduction is stable. There are certain indications for open reduction. Number one is failed close reduction. Then when there is big posterior lip fragment or maybe bone interposed in the hip joint, or when there is fracture of the femoral head, neck or shaft of the same side. Most important indication for open reduction is sciatic nerve palsy, to know the damage to the sciatic nerve and the cause. Complications. Sciatic nerve injury can be seen in 10 to 13% of the cases. Usually it's a neuroplexia and recovers in some time. Usually the peroneal division is